I've never been a guy that just sits and does nothing.
I would say we just were a normal family, just a normal middle-class family.
Life seemed a little simpler back then, but it wasn't. I had owned a business, I sold it, I was starting a new career, would come home, help make dinner, play with the kids. We were very active. Yeah, we had a really good life. I just got strep throat. Then it went south from there.
Kevin, when I came home that night, was like, oh, I don't feel good. And a couple days later, he was home and he said he was gonna take the day off work, and Kevin never took a day off work. Like, hardest worker I ever met.
I thought it was just a cold, and I got checked for strep. The next day, I went to the ER, and everything gets fuzzy for me from there because I was getting so sick.
And it was a very long night in the hospital, kind of in and out of consciousness. I was hitting the nurse button like 5,000 times, like, something's not right here. And when the doctor came in the morning, it was kind of like, all right, he's got to go to surgery now. And I really didn't have a clue.
Finding out that I had strep throat, it had moved to my abdomen, got infected, sepsis, and then they had to give me pressors, and then that's how I lost all the circulation to my legs and hands. I remember my wife telling me, you might lose your fingers.
And I remember crying hysterically and saying, he's not gonna wanna live without his fingertips. And now I look at that and think that was so silly.
My hand was all black, my foot was black. It was like porcelain. It is the weirdest thing to look at and go, oh, this is on my body. This is kind of crazy. I'm not sure I totally comprehended where I would end up. I think I thought in my head I would end up with less cut off than what I have cut off.
My role was just to support Kevin any way I could and get him up and moving. He's not a guy that sits still. He's been nothing but tell me what I have to do since the moment he woke up.
It really comes down to baby steps. You get these little goals and stuff, and it's just, oh, that's awesome, I can do that.
At one point I remember, like, I kind of broke down, and I was like, how are you staying so strong? Like, you know, it's okay if you cry, you can cry. Like, I need to cry, can you cry? And he just looked at me and he said, Julie, how I respond to this, it will forever affect our children. I'm either gonna respond in a positive way, and they're gonna see me go through this with strength, or I'm gonna let this break me, and I'm not gonna let my children see this break me. From that moment on, that was a big moment for me, because I remember thinking that I need to have that same strength for my kids.
Thank you, thank you. My name is Kevin. This is my wife, Julie. We're from Grand Rapids, Michigan. As you can see from the video, we've gone through some stuff in the last couple years. And we just hope that sharing our story will help inspire others. Just to let you know a little bit about us. I owned my own business for about 20 years to be able to provide for our family for the things that we wanted to do. I've always been a hard worker. I loved water skiing, wakeboarding, surfing, really anything behind a boat. I used to play basketball every Tuesday night, and if we weren't up at our cottage, we were usually doing some kind of outdoor activity. We had a pretty active lifestyle.
Yeah, sometimes I would say that Kevin was maybe a little bit too active and a little bit too adventurous for my liking. He was always the fun dad, always trying to get our kids to do new things. In fact, he had both of our children up on a surfboard with him by the time they were 2. His love for the outdoors and just his work ethic in general was just contagious. As a husband, Kevin worked really hard to provide for our family and was super helpful around the house. Kevin was also always willing to help others and always looking for the next project to start, because when I said he didn't sit still, he literally still doesn't. He wakes up with an agenda in his head every day. When Kevin and I had been married for 7 years when this all happened, and in that 7 years, Kevin truly seldom took a day off work.
And then I missed a day of work. It was Christmas 2016, and I wasn't feeling that good, and neither was our son Blake. And we were supposed to go to Julie's family Christmas, but I said, nah, I don't think we should go. Well, Julie thought we were just trying to get out of a family function, but that wasn't the case. So the next day, we actually had to go to the hospital, and they found out that I had strep throat that had moved to my abdomen, and then it got infected, went septic, and then that's how I lost my limbs. And then I was in the ICU for about a week and a half, where Julie can fill you in the details because I was taking a nap.
Yeah, so while Kevin was in the ICU, it really was a terrifying time for us. The doctors were very clear that they did not think Kevin was going to survive, and if he did, there would be some serious changes along the way. Once we thought maybe there was hope he might make it, they told me that he would likely lose his fingertips, and I really did cry hysterically and say, Kevin is not going to want to live without his fingertips. And later, though, we learned that it was more likely he was going to lose part or all of his hands and feet. So when Kevin woke up, there was a tremendous joy that he was going to live, but truly just this complete fear of what was going to come ahead of us. Thankfully for us, we have been surrounded by people willing to help. Once it was determined that Kevin would actually lose more than just part of his feet, is when we first met with his orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Miller, and this was also the first time that we were introduced to Hanger Clinic.
Nikki Stoner, the community care coordinator from Hanger Clinic, was the first person from the organization that we met. She informed us on how Hanger would be alongside of us through the amputations, and she also shared with us, I guess, some of the prosthetics that we would be able to use. She then got us in touch with another prosthetist from Hanger, and we were able to consult with Dr. Miller, who was going to do my leg amputations. And the day after my legs were amputated, Dr. Miller was able to get a friend of his and a client of Hanger to come up to the hospital and show us his amputated leg and his prosthetic. And we had never seen one, or we didn't really know what they were, so that was very helpful. The next thing that we're going to have to do is decide where we're going to amputate my left hand and my fingers. Well, thankfully, Ryan Sheridan and Craig Jackman came to my house with a bag full of prosthetics. They laid them all on the table.
It was quite a sight.
And they just went through the process of how the prosthetics would go. And then as we were talking, they actually volunteered to go to my doctor's appointment the very next day so that we could meet with the surgeon and as a family and with them and the surgeon, just so we could make a good decision on where to do the amputation. And that really meant a lot to us. And that really made Hanger stand out as to which prosthetic company we wanted to use.
Yeah, so, yeah, that was huge. That deserves a round of applause. So Hanger really was an easy choice for us. From the very beginning, they stood out as not only caring about Kevin, but our entire family. From the first time that we stepped foot into an actual Hanger office, I knew that they were going to do everything possible to help Kevin and I figure out this new normal. We quickly learned how important it was to have this confident and comfortable relationship with Hanger, as we spent hours upon hours in that office in the upcoming months, because your appointments are not fast. They always took the time to talk to me about how I was doing, if there was anything that they could do to help around my house. And they also always had buckets of toys for my kids to play with, which for any of you with kids out there, that was huge. So have those toys in your office. One of the biggest things they did, though, was that they really helped Kevin and I learn how to set realistic goals and expectations in this journey.
Yeah, and setting realistic goals was not something that I was used to doing. For some reason, even though Hanger had prepped me, I thought I would be able to get a set of legs, put them on, and just go. Didn't quite work that way. Although my first steps, they were super excited, super happy. There was a lot of pain, and I knew right then that this was going to be a long journey. But again, Hanger was right there by my side and encouraging me the whole time.
So one moment that really stood out to me is right at the beginning of this process. Kevin didn't even have his first set of real legs yet. We had the opportunity of meeting Kevin Carroll at a PEC at a Hanger clinic. And Mr. Carroll took the time to sit down with us, talk to us, ask us what Kevin's goals were, what he wanted to accomplish, and made it seem like anything was going to be possible. He also took the time to show us a video of Pedro Pimenta, and in that video it showed him getting on his prosthetics by himself, and then even getting in a car and driving. And I'm telling you guys, this little video gave us so much hope that Kevin would be able to too gain some independence back. But becoming independent was a very slow process, which was a lot on our family. But slowly, Kevin did begin learning how to do more for himself, and every little thing that he learned how to do started making a big difference in our day-to-day lives at home. Before long, and with a lot of help from all the physical therapists, occupational therapists, and Hanger Clinic, Kevin was not only getting ready independently, but also starting to help around the house a little bit and start caring for our children again. And although it was certainly never Kevin's dream job to be a stay-at-home dad, the fact that I was able to leave my 4-year-old son home with him so that I could get back to work was truly an amazing accomplishment.
So Julie made that sound so eloquent. Let's be clear, it wasn't that easy. The first thing I had to figure out was just how to get the prosthetics on by myself. And then we progressed from there, just learning how to walk, and then get dressed, which thankfully they do make some adaptive clothing, which really did assist me in that. And then then I had to figure out how to eat without making a mess, which is still something I struggle with today. The next thing that I really wanted to accomplish was being able to drive. That was just huge. But I had to go back to driver's training, and then I had to equip my truck with some stuff. But when I got my license back and I could go to doctor's appointments by myself and do different things, that just made me feel so independent. That was just an awesome feeling. Ryan has always been there to take the time. Ryan is my prosthetist, by the way, my upper limb. He's always taken the time to understand my goals, and sometimes he's had to set me straight on what the realities are. There was one time I was in my barn, it was on a Sunday, I broke 3 prosthetic devices in 1 hour.
True story.
This did not put me in the best of moods. That then made her not be in the best of moods.
Also true.
So then she was pretty wound up at me, and I get it. So she texts Ryan, it was like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, and he actually responded within minutes and just said, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get you hooked up the next morning. It was Monday morning, and he did, and they took care of us.
And Ryan, I don't know where you are out here, but you probably saved our marriage that day. So thank you.
And I push the limits of my prosthetics because I want to live the life that I used to live. And in the last 3 years, my goal is just getting back to what I think is normal. And I've been able to learn how to ride my quad, plow snow, mow grass. I can do laundry. I can fold clothes.
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. And Hanger sent me to the Endeavor Games where I was able to learn to shoot a gun again and shoot a bow and arrow, which are things I didn't think I would be able to do. There was one more thing that I really wanted to accomplish, and that was to get back up on my wake surfboard. And Julie can tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah, so while Kevin was in the ICU, I specifically remember asking one of the doctors if he woke up, if he would be able to water ski again. And I'm sure that seemed like a really crazy question to her, that was what I was concerned about. But anyone that knew Kevin knew that his love for the water was really what made him. In fact, the owner of his favorite store, Action Water Sports, actually brought up a brand new surfboard to the hospital, had everyone in the company sign it, and gave it to me and told me, Julie, this is going to be Kevin's inspiration. This is going to be his motivation when he wakes up. And it really was. When Kevin woke up and he was able to talk, he looked at me and told me that I will surf again. And there was times in this journey, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure that was actually going to happen, but it did. And in less than 6 months after Kevin had his legs amputated, his physical therapist from the hospital actually made his way to our cottage, and he, along with our closest friends and family, were able to witness Kevin get up on a surfboard for the very first time. I mean, there truly isn't words that really describe.
It wasn't long, but I got it.
You guys, that was just truly pure happiness. I mean, we were starting to figure life out, but this was the first time that it felt like okay, like we're gonna really get back to normal. As a mom and a wife, I am truly just in awe of the lessons that I see Kevin continue to teach our children every day through his perseverance and his determination. But probably more importantly, I hope that my kids are starting to see the importance of kindness and caring, because we would not have been here without the village of people that we've had by our side.
It really does take a village, from Nikki meeting with us at the doctor's office, to Craig and Ryan coming to the surgeons. Hanger has been there every step of the way. They continue to tweak my prosthesis so that I can do the activities and accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. Ryan and Craig have even come up to my cottage and tandem surfed with me, and it's fun, but it also gives them the opportunity to see firsthand what my needs are. Hanger has also allowed me to do some things that are just bigger than us. I've been able to help out in our local wake surf clinic and just share my love of the water with other amputees. Like I said earlier, I was able to go to the Endeavor Games. We were even able to go to New York and be on the 3rd hour of the Today Show, which was awesome. We had a great experience there.
Super fun.
Yeah. And I've been able to go to the Challenge Athletes Foundation and meet other people with similar goals and situations like mine. This is here where I came to realize that although I am technically disabled, I'm technically disabled, I am not a disabled athlete. I simply have challenges that I have to overcome.
We really could not have overcome these challenges without the support of so many people. Our family and friends have been with us, helping us, loving us, guiding us through this journey the entire time. Total strangers from our church and our local community, as well as people literally around the world, have stepped up and helped us in countless ways. And finally, guys, the relationship that we have developed with Hanger Clinic, our physical therapists, our occupational therapists, and the doctors, there aren't words to describe it. It's unbelievable. We do not just have a team of people working with us. We have made some lifelong friends in this journey. So simply put, we are beyond thankful for God and the many blessings that He has given us in this journey. And we truly just hope that we can provide maybe a little bit of blessings for other people along the way.
Thank you for letting us share our story.